The USFL Gambling Podcast Week 4 reaction show on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Shady Rays. Yes, SGPN is teaming up with Shady Rays for Shady May. Get 50% off Shady Rays using the promo code SGPN and then go to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/shady for your chance to win $500 of cold hard cash. And remember, folks, as always, to let it ride.
Football is a unique American experience. A game described by one turn-of-the-century critic as crude and barbaric, with little chance of survival. But survive it did.
I don't give a damn who you are. This is America, Jack. You know how to play winning high-dose football? I don't get it.
Being played in the United States Football League.
Touchdown! Oh my God! Quarterback is toast.
We sometimes forget that football, being the consummate team sport, is a way to feel more successful when you do play as a unit and don't rely on individual talent. Frankly, I'm impressed with the USFL.
America, this league is good for America, and football is a sport that is made for television.
That is football.
I'm like, spring football is going to work in America.
You play to win the game.
And now it is time for our USFL report.
Boom, and we are back on the USFL Gambling Podcast with our Week 4 reaction show. We're already 4 weeks done, and look, my picks were absolutely awful this week. They were absolutely awful this week, and
The fuck is that?
that's the way I feel. That's the way I feel right now. You might be wondering who the hell you're listening to. Well, my name is Colby Swinging Database Dan, a.k.a. Pick Dundee. That's not a pick. This is a pick.
He was raised in the land down under, where a man thinks on his feet, speaks with his fists, and lives by his wits.
I smoke and I drink, and I don't have stress, and I'm healthy.
When Dundee happened, he was a superstar.
Yeah, it was a shock. I thought, it's a mistake. You know, I'm like Popeye or Buffhead in the cartoons, and those kind of people don't get sick. I've never been sick in my life.
I've never been sick in my life, even after a weekend of bad picks. It's like predictable. Hey. I was pretty shocked by some of the outcomes. We had a kick return, second kick return of the season, I believe. Already more than the XFL, and we're only 4 weeks in. XFL.
I'm surprised it's only that much, just because most of we see that the average field position is like the 39-yard line.
There's been a few, though, that were really far. So, look, I am joined by my co-host. Give it up for former JMU Duke defensive back, the burrito-eating, sideline kiss-stealing, wheeling and dealing, Patty C in the place to be.
Hi-oh! Well,
Let's go. First down. And look, we're still not in studio because I'm still in South America. Rum Dundee is still here. And we just had a great week, buddy. I mean, not on my picks. If anything, you were better on your picks than myself.
Wasn't fantastic either. Well, there were some upsets, or close to upsets.
There were some upsets too, though.
There were some upsets and close to upsets. Yeah, so it was tough to predict.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We're getting a little it's getting interesting because let's start things off. Let's just go right before we get into this. Let me just say this. The USFL Gambling Podcast is brought to you by Shady Rays and Shady May. Yes, Shady Rays is teaming up with us. Yes, SGPN and Shady Rays together. All right. For Shady May. Not only do you get an amazing 50% off everything, but you also get a chance to win $500 of cold, hard cash. And look, Shady Rays has you covered from the sun to the slopes, baby, with premium polarized shades, customizable snow goggles, and much, much more. Shady Rays have everything that you want. They got the durable frames. They got the extremely clear optics for all those outdoor adventures. And that's not all. Shady Rays offers the absolute most insane protection in all of eyewear. Every pair of sunglasses is backed by lost and broken replacements. Yes, so let's say you were out in the world and you ran into Mark Thompson and he stiff-armed the shit out of your face and broke your glasses, right? Because that's what he's doing to all these guys in the USFL.
You'd have a lot of company on the Philadelphia Stars.
Yes. So you can just go right to Shady Rays and look, they're not even going to ask questions. They're not going to say, why would you try to do that to Mark Thompson? They're just going to say, boom, here's your pair of sunglasses. And look, if you don't love them, you can exchange them for a new pair as well within 30 days. There's no risk when you shop with Shady Rays because their team has their back or your back long after your purchase. Go to shadyrays.com. Use that promo code SGPN for 50% off 2+ pairs of polarized sunglasses. Then take your receipt to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/shady for your chance to win the $500 in the Shady May contest. All right, Patty C.
Boom.
We are here. The shocker to me was the way that the Gamblers just destroyed the Philadelphia Stars. I mean, 41-16, and Mark Thompson, he pretty much, I mean, Kenji Bahar played good too, but this was an ass whooping. Just an absolute ass whooping. And I'm starting to buy into the Houston Gamblers. I'm starting to realize that the Philadelphia Stars suck. Hey, what am I hearing back there?
Oh, this has got an airplane flying by.
Oh, okay, damn. Mike's really working. I mean, what'd you make of this game? Because this was, I think, the ugliest game of the whole weekend. And, I'll tell you this, if Kenji Bahar keeps playing this good, the Gamblers might be a team to beat in this league. Bahar, 15 of 21, 0 interceptions, 230 yards, almost 72% completion percentage. 11.
Is that his first game without a pick?
No,
far?
I thought he had two games with that, but he's gotten a lot better since the first week. And then Mark Thompson, holy shit, 13 for 134 and 3 touchdowns, 10.3 yards a carry. Wow. And he also had 8 yards in the air. What's up?
3 touchdowns for Thompson. Kiki Chisholm, a nice little game, was highlight touchdown to end the half that really made Philadelphia look like just lackadaisical and poor tacklers.
Yeah, it's just disgusting tackling on that play. They fit their dome persona.
Yeah, they definitely did. They were a dome team this week for sure. And Chisholm also recovering that fumble in the end zone on the Kenji Bahar run. He had himself a game, but also Hall had another, I guess, decent start of the game. He's a great punt returner. There are some athletes in this league, man.
There really is. And we saw, obviously, the kick returner. What was it? Keon. I'm drawing a blank on the guy for the Stallions who returned that for the touchdown. Yeah, I mean, and I was shocked by this outcome, man. I think I'm done with the Stars. You?
You kind of have to be selling pretty hard right now on them. Case Cook is still, even in his worst passing output, is putting up 189 yards. I know they just throw the ball. That's all they do. But the fact that no one has been able to completely shut down their passing attack, maybe they make a tweak and, I'm not completely ready to sell on them. I mean, they were pretty close to winning the championship last year. But
True.
They got to get it figured out.
And they got to get it figured out without Chris Rowland, who I just saw right before going live here, out for the season for the Philadelphia Stars. That was a key player a year ago on that team. So
what happened in that? I saw him take a big hit early on.
Yeah, I don't know that they announced it, but obviously he's out for the year. I mean, they announced that he's out for the year, but they haven't announced, was it collarbone? Was it this? Was it that? I don't know.
Right.
But that's a substantial loss for the Stars. Meanwhile, the Gamblers, are you perhaps with Mark Thompson? They're 2-0. Got to remember, he was out the first 2 weeks.
Yeah. I mean, if Pledger is your number 2, then your backfield and Bahar playing the way he is, a dual threat guy like that who's, finally cutting down the mistakes. Yeah, the offense has become dangerous and the defense is flying around. I think you got to respect Houston right now.
Let's go. I was shocked by that. That is one that I just completely whiffed on. And speaking of whiffing, and you had the Gamblers, Patty C. So, but I really whiffed on the Showboats, won by 19. Now, this is where I want to pick your brain a little bit, buddy, because Memphis Showboats 29, Michigan Panthers 10. Did you watch this one? Because Michigan had more yards all game. They just made crucial turnovers, I thought, in the red zone. Yeah. And then obviously the strip sack was huge when they got down 10.
Oh, yeah.
But early on, Josh Love was just some terrible passes in the end zone, looking down, just staring at one wide out, and having
to do like quintuple coverage, right?
Yeah, what are you doing, man? Showboats get their first win since 1985 or 86. I think it was, and
no, I didn't catch that. Was it? Yeah, that's a big win. First win in 28 years or 38 years.
8 years, yeah.
Nice, congrats, Memphis. Even though you have terrible uniforms, but a nice win for that established franchise. Yeah,
Michigan, I'm starting to worry about, but they kind of were the better team, but then they just couldn't do it.
I mean, here's how bad it is for Michigan. Carson Strong was brought in, and
he had a terrible red zone pick too.
Yeah, he threw a pick. But he was their leading passer with 76 yards. If you have two quarterbacks, you got none, and this is a textbook example of that.
And they just loaded the box. Reggie Corbin only got 3.8 yards of rush. I know Stevie Scott actually was their leading rusher on the day. I don't know. I'm starting to worry about the Michigan Panthers. If the season ended today, they'd still be in, but they have to find something because 2 turnovers, 2 fumbles lost, so 4 turnovers is the difference in that game. Patty C,
they had the number 1 pick in both of the drafts so far. How are they still
Well, they're in the playoffs right now. If the season ended right now, they're in the playoffs.
Are they 2-2 right now?
Yeah. Season ended right now. They are in the playoffs, but at the same time, I get your point. All right, let me ask you this. Yeah. How confident do you feel about the Michigan Panthers moving forward?
Not very. How could you be?
Yeah.
I don't know that I'm going to put too much stock in this week's performance, but 2 weeks in a row kind of getting slapped around, you have to be a little concerned at this point.
And then you got the Memphis Showboats. Do they have life? I don't know, because Birmingham and New Orleans seem like they're running away with the South. Maybe even Houston's in front of them and also has the tiebreaker right now. But hey, a win is a win. You never know how this thing could shake out. There's still 5 weeks of football. What do you make of it?
I think Memphis might have found a little something this week. Obviously, getting absolutely throttled in week 2 by Birmingham. I don't know if you can throw that result away. That's a really bad result, and then really with Philadelphia not being that great, that loss is starting to look worse. But keeping it close against Houston last week, and probably should have beaten Houston last week if they weren't idiots, and then putting it on Michigan, I think they're going in the right direction. So we shall see.
You should there we go. I was about to say, tilt your camera down. People are looking at the ceiling. But yeah, you're right. And by the way, folks, you can watch us on YouTube, youtube.com. Type in USFL Gambling Podcast. You can watch us live, dude. Even though we're not in studio. Like I said, I'm in South America. Patty sees it, Santa Monica, California right now. So we're all scattered around. NC Nick will be with us for the picks edition of Week 5, which should be live in a couple days. Yeah, so I don't know. I guess, what were you more surprised at? Game 1 or game 2? Like the Stars just getting destroyed, or the Showboats getting the best of Michigan? Michigan, by the way, curse of Bobby Lane's still alive because they're 0-2 in their own stadium. They're 2-0 on the road.
Yeah, you're not winning in Detroit. That's the pro football in Detroit is done forever after that trade, apparently. I don't know. That's a great question. I think just the sheer incessant onslaught that Houston put on Philadelphia was a little more shocking to me.
Agreed. And knowing that Philadelphia played for the Freedom Cup a year ago, I think that was just the one that dude, I was at a party I'm down here, they're celebrating for my wedding, even though I got married like a year and a half ago.
Hey,
and
now you finally get to party Columbia style.
Yeah, and that didn't disappoint, but maybe for them because I demanded to get the USFL game on the TV, and it was a fucking ass whooping. It was just an ass whooping.
Screaming at the TV at his own wedding.
What are you doing? Tackle him! All right. Well, look. Before we talk about the next two games, folks, I want to tell you that the USFL Gambling Podcast is brought to you by Talkify. Yes, life is full of what ifs. So what if you try something new when it comes to dating? Because Talkify is a new way to meet other serious singles. And what if they, help you find out exactly what you're looking for? Because maybe you're having a hard time meeting great people to date. Maybe you keep going down to the same bowling alley, and old Linda keeps giving you the same bullshit. All right. I'm just saying in life, and I believe in this even outside of dating, if you're doing the same shit over and over and getting the same failing result, I think you should try to change your methods. So you can still do the same thing in a way, but change some of the methods. Change the.
Isn't Albert Einstein, the definition of an insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results?
It's true.
Come on, what are you, crazy?
Seems to work for Iowa football though, but still. Anyway, it's honestly, you're right. Alfred was right. I don't care what he did in the Manhattan Project. It was right. So it's time to say goodbye to swiping and bring back the human touch to dating with Talkify. Yes. Because really confidence is key when it comes to dating. And look, if you struggle to find worthwhile connections, I get it. It can be difficult. It can feel difficult when meeting new people. You're just not optimistic. But with Talkify, you can feel confident that you're meeting someone special who was picked exactly for you. Talkify is the country's #1 modern matchmaking service that is designed to help you achieve relationship success. And their trusted compatibility specialists hand select successful and compelling candidates so you can date consciously and productively. And here's how it works. The Talkify matchmakers will meet with you to learn about what you're looking for exactly in your partner. And then they'll go out and do all the work for you. They'll select and screen potential match candidates for you, do some background checks, and make sure old Martha didn't fuck she's a teacher. Oh, she's a teacher. Background check. Fuck the high schooler. You want to know that, right? Look, video interviews, all that good stuff, asking the tough questions that are too awkward for first dates. From there, your matchmaking plans, they'll take care of all that. Date introductions, handle all the communications for you, create a safe and stress-free dating experience. Maybe you're a woman listening to this show. Ron, you see him at church every Sunday. He says, good. The computer's even recommending me to match him. Then they do a background check. He's been doing blow for the past 30 years, right? Has spent his ex's money. It's going to tell you all that. Talkify's committed to finding your match. 80% of the clients met their person within their first 12 matches. And right now, Talkify is offering our listeners 20% off when you become a client at Talkify.com/SGPN. That's TAWKIFY.com/SGPN for 20% off when you become a client. Talkify.com/SGPN. All right. We are back. We are back, Patty C. And, we got Sunday's games were a lot better, in my opinion. And I think everyone's opinion, because both games really came down to the final couple minutes. The New Orleans Breakers, New Jersey Generals, as talking to NC Nick on the phone, and he's like, this game was fantastic. I don't care what, this game was one of the best games you could watch in any league. So New Orleans Breakers, and I caught this one. Breakers continue to stay unbeaten. There still could be some 72 Dolphins magic with Breaker 1-2.
This is how I know I'm getting hooked on the USFL a little bit. I'm at the bar with my pops. We're watching Boston and Philly on the main screen, and I can't get my eyes off the New Orleans Philly USFL game, which is on the little screen, and he keeps trying to get my attention. I'm like, no, dude. Sorry, more important game here.
Yeah, yeah, and dude, this game was fantastic. It really was, and I really feel like if you take away a couple of those early mistakes, New Jersey was getting good field position, but Darius Victor fumble. I don't know if that was on him or on DeAndre Johnson. It seemed like
was it a mesh point fumble?
Yeah, might have been Victor's fault, I think, but that was a big one. Also, they had another fumble with their wideout, but I mean, they were right there. It was back and forth game, but the Breakers, man. This Breaker team's I'm really impressed with them. McLeod Bethel Thompson had the one bad pick, but besides that, the offense was rolling. They kept doing these underneath routes that I felt like was working for him.
Dude, methodical drives. Talk about the benefits of an experienced quarterback.
Yeah. 30 fucking 8-year-old, 33 or 34, I forget. But, obviously won a Grey Cup with the Toronto Argos. And
he is the example of like the value of, and look, my quarterbacking days in high school, I was an option quarterback with a pop arm, so I have a special place in my heart for mobile quarterbacks, but I can acknowledge a dude that like can just master an offense like Thompson, has.
Yeah.
And he just kept moving the ball, those slow, methodical drives. Like it's like watching Tom Brady a little bit.
Well, dude, in the Argos, long history of great quarterbacks. Do I need to mention Joe Theismann? Do I need to mention June Jones? Do I need to mention Doug Flutie? And now you throw McLeod Bethel Thompson in there? Whew, let's go.
Come on.
Go. Subscribe to the CFL Gambling Podcast, folks. Season's starting in early June. Yeah, so the Breakers, man, I mean, now you think they're legit, like definitely legit to win the Freedom Cup potentially?
Yeah, they're really good. They're really well balanced. I'll say this about New Jersey. Reluctant to use the term here, but thoroughbreds all over the field,
Yeah, Sage Surratt's balling his ass off for them, and then
no, I'm talking about New Jersey.
Oh, for New Jersey, I'm sorry. Yeah, they do.
Cam Eccles looper, you're like, holy shit, he jumps off screen.
Oh, Trey Williams was healthy.
Trey Williams jumps off screen. Even obviously Darius Victor.
Yeah, Satterfield. Yeah, they got guys.
And then, Johnson jumps off screen as an athlete too. It's like, dude, if those dudes are all at their peak, they're very tough to stop, and they were. But New Orleans, while not as athletically mesmerizing, super well balanced, and yeah, Wes Hills is a very good back. I don't know about his pro potential
came from, but damn, he's good.
Yeah,
as far as like in this league, because it looked like it was going to be, we thought Anthony Jones starting again, but no, he's emerged and he is not looking back because the Breakers. Now, should we panic if you're a Generals fan? I don't think so. I still think you're probably the best team in the North, and I still think I do want to see the quarterback play, the passing game improve, but getting Trey Williams back and obviously he broke that touchdown run. That dude's a stud. When he's good. Or when we haven't seen him at 100% until I feel like this week, and so getting him going with Victor and then DeAndre,
they got 2 number 1 backs.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So they should be. I still think you don't panic. Don't panic if you have a future on the Generals. Don't panic. Yeah. Especially you're in the North, so if anything, that's the easier path to the Freedom Cup at the moment.
And you kind of pointed it out with Johnson again. Only 113 yards, but like when it seemed like when he did complete the ball, it popped. Yeah, like that offense is designed to draw the defense up to stop the run, and then they can make it pop on those pass plays.
Dude, there's something about, I know I touched on this a couple weeks ago. There's something about the games at Tom Benson Stadium that look great on screen. Like
the grass.
It just looks beautiful. It just looks beautiful. So Breakers stay undefeated, and they're the lone undefeated team in the United States Football League. The final game that we'll talk about here is the Birmingham Stallions, Pittsburgh Maulers. This was a fantastic game. I'm starting to really buy in on the Pittsburgh Maulers. I know they lost by 4, but they had the lead with like 5 minutes left. Troy Williams with a great touchdown run.
They were the better team in this game.
I agree. I really thought, dude, Troy Williams in the first half, though, missed. He was late on a couple throws. But I still get mad a little bit at the coaching staff because I think it was the kid Walker out of San Jose State, the wideout. So Williams is incredibly late on the throw. It still gets there. Walker gets down to like the 1.5, 2 yard line. And they settle for a field goal. I'm sorry. That can't happen. That cannot happen. That's the difference in you losing the game. They had 4 field goals through the first 3 quarters. That happened a lot. Now, one of those field goals was a long one, I think, but that happened a lot. All right? You cannot be settling for 18-yard field goals. But even with all that, this is a team that had the lead with 5 minutes left when Troy Williams had like a 30-yard touchdown run, I feel like. And then they kicked it off. And at that point, we got to see why the USFL, out of all the professional football leagues, including the NFL, has the best kickoff because we have the second return of the season, like I said, which is more than the XFL has through 11 weeks, essentially. As they get ready to play their championship game.
Was it the same guys before? I'm gonna find the game log of that game and see who returned it. But I feel like, Birmingham, like you said, is responsible for both of those kick returns and impressive both times. They just have, I don't know if it's schematically or it's just him as a kick returner, maybe a little bit of both.
Deon Cain.
Cain.
And he's leading the league right now in that. But
on the flip side of that, Henny, Pittsburgh's punt returner and receiver, is pretty explosive too. So,
dude, Reuben Foster was a scratch. He didn't play this game. I am like starting to really get sold on Pittsburgh's defense. Like, I think this could be a team to watch out for this year.
Their defensive unit is as fun as New Jersey's offensive unit.
Well, and if Troy Williams can be, I know he was late on those passes, but if he can keep working there, I like the fact, I said this last year when Pittsburgh was terrible. Kirby Wilson was throwing out Kyle Laletta Cheese and Josh Love and Vad Lee. None of those guys could really run the ball. Like, to me, if your offense is just shitty, well, get your most mobile quarterback back there.
Yeah.
And you saw it with Troy Williams when he had like a 25-yard touchdown run to get the lead in that game with like 5 minutes left before the kickoff.
Yeah.
I think they got something. I think they got something going. So I'm kind of excited to see the Maulers. Well, how about you?
And the Maulers, man, their uniforms look great. They look like the 90s or 70s Steelers, like in terms of just like the style and the look. I'm in. I love them. I think they're super fun. It is going to be interesting to see if Troy Williams, can build on the nice statistical performance he had. He's only got 406 yards and 1 passing touchdown through 4 games now, but he had 200 of them this game, so it's a huge step forward for him.
I think the main thing is he didn't throw a pick.
Yeah, that's big. If this offense starts going and you combine it with that defense, I'll look out.
I'm surprised the run game's not better, though. I thought Madre London would have a bigger impact on the Maulers this year. It hasn't been the case. Just had 3 yards rushing. Garrett Groshek, 5 for 9.
Rushing game sucks.
It's terrible. It's absolutely terrible. But I don't know. They got Walker and Gay through the former San Jose State wideouts that have been pretty solid for them, even last year when they were shit. But I don't know. But meanwhile, let's talk about the Stallions.
Let me quote the great Michael Irvin when he said, Tony Romo's grandmother must have pulled a brother out of the barn and gotten down to business. That applies for Alex McGough. Did you see that touchdown? Holy shit.
I did.
That's an NFL player right there. Yeah. Well, I don't know about overall, but that play was an NFL touchdown. That was some Michael Vick shit. Yeah,
no, it was a really impressive. If you haven't watched that, folks, I should suggest you hop on over to YouTube. You'll watch that because, or Twitter, I don't know, whatever you can find it on. But it was a fantastic play, one of the better plays of the season. The Stallions, Scooby Wright made an appointment. It made a started for the first game since the first game of the season, and which he got injured early on in that game. So we got the first complete game with our friend of the program, Scooby Wright. And man, the guy's a fucking beast, man.
Shark Dizzle.
Dude, he was huge in this game for them. I heard Skip Holtz talking about it, saying he's the glue. 6 tackles, a pass breakup, and I thought he had a critical was it tackle for a loss in that game. Big game for Shark Dog getting it done there.
I mean, when you consider that if Reuben Foster had been playing, you might have the 2 top defenders in the league on the field or in the game, going back and forth. Would have liked to have seen that, but maybe a preview of the postseason. Who knows?
Who knows? I mean, dude, the North is wide open right now. The North is wide open. I'm excited for the coming weeks. Folks, we normally do our power rankings, but we're going to drop that on, Wednesday or Thursday show. But this is our reaction show. We just reacted to the 4 games. Another great week, Patty C, of the United States Football League. What do you make so far, 4 weeks in?
I mean, it's fun. It's fun. It's like getting to know these players for a couple years now. I mean, what's the difference between this and the NFL? Obviously, I guess you have, some more spectacular talent at the NFL level. But like you and I have said a million times, like whether it's, this guy or that guy, we're still watching great football being played. And we're familiar with these guys, and we're watching this league evolve into something that's super compelling.
Ball is ball, man. And it's funny. I was a guest on a podcast in New Jersey earlier tonight. And, and this was just a preview of, we're just really talking all ball. We were talking college football and really XFL, but we touched a little bit on USFL. And it was funny. Both hosts were saying, why is it the teams in the USFL are so much better? Why is it the quality of play is so much better? And I was like, I don't know. Maybe the fact they were a year early and maybe they cater to the run game a lot more. But the team, I got to admit, now obviously the DC crowd, the St. Louis crowd in the XFL were great and gave them huge advantages visually. But I really think if your worst team in the league is either Memphis or Philly, I kind of think they would fuck up the worst team in the league in the XFL.
It's tough to say. I mean, Jordan Tamu just won MVP of the USFL or the XFL.
I mean, how bad does that make Todd Haley look?
Seriously. I think the talent level is probably similar. The product maybe, there's got to be more continuity and gel within the schemes, both offensively and defensively in year 2 for the USFL versus the XFL in year 1. But maybe there's something to do with the production value, that.
But I don't know. I mean, I think it's something about maybe the line of scrimmage is better. Maybe they have, because aside from DC, who can run the ball, no one in the XFL can run the ball. And you watch this, whether it's Darius Victor or Trey Williams or Wes Hills in New Orleans. I know Scarborough hasn't gotten off to what he's been injured, but it just seems to be Reggie Corbin. We've seen him go off. Stevie Scott's had good games. Like, it just seems to me like they're more complete football teams. Am I crazy?
No, I think when you watch it seems that way. I think maybe having some ability to anticipate what you're going to watch helps, like getting on and saying, oh, Mark Thompson's playing this week, and then watching him shine, you go, oh, shit, he is that good. Whereas if you're watching someone that you're not familiar with, maybe you just say, oh, maybe that's a fluke thing.
Like Abram Smith was the best running back in the XFL. Look, we host the XFL Gambling Podcast. Subscribe. We're not – Abram Smith, I don't think would be like a top 8 rusher in the USFL. Like, I think he's solid, but you're telling me you have Darius Victor, Mark Thompson. We haven't seen Scarborough this year, but I know he's a stud.
Yeah,
right?
Wes Hills.
Reggie Corbin's a baller for Michigan Panthers. Like, you have really good running backs in these leagues, but maybe that's part of it to me. I don't know, but I'll
say this too: the kick returning aspect. There are several players where you go, I can see flat out that guy can fly and he would be dangerous in the NFL. You know, You can see when a dude can move like that. And there's a couple dudes in the USFL where you just watch them and you're like, that motherfucker's faster than everyone on the field. Like, that's entertaining.
And what's super entertaining is seeing we've talked about this, and I know I'm probably beating a dead horse. The NFL has ruined the kickoff with like kicking it from way back, even though they don't even have the data. They're just doing that bullshit. Yeah. And then the XFL's kickoff is very gimmicky, so you never get long returns. That is exciting. We want to see long returns. We want to see these skill players that are very fun to watch, break big runs like that. And that's why I think the USFL
showcase their talent.
Yeah, shout out to Mike Pereira here for getting this right. I feel like it is by far the best special teams or the best rules in any of the pro leagues. So,
as it relates to special teams, without a doubt.
Yeah.
And in general, I would have to say.
Yeah, I agree. All right, folks. Well, we will be back in a few days to talk Week 5 action. But subscribe to the USFL Gambling Podcast on Twitter at USFL Gambling, and also subscribe on YouTube. I'm on Twitter at the Colby D. Patty C's on Twitter at PattyC831. And NC Nick will be with us on the Pick Show, is on Twitter at NC__NICK. Give him a follow. Give us all a follow. And looking forward to talking ball with you. And look, shout out to the Houston Gamblers. And let's go out on this note. This is the USFL Gambling Podcast, Week 4 reaction show. You better start thinking about yours. And we out of here.
Run and shoot.